Hi there, it's Gemma Stone from gemmastone.org, and we have another question that needs to be answered. So I'm going to read the question to you here. Okay, here's a question for your video blog, and I think it's a timely one. I've gotten to the point where I hate Christmas, mostly because it means having to gather to celebrate with my adult children of an alcoholic sibling in-laws and their whole effed up social system. Thanks to a program called Celebrate Recovery and a lot of help from Melody Beattie's books, I've made a lot of progress in being able to detach from the crap in a healthy way. I, and your bajillion fans, would like to hear some of your strategies with dealing with dysfunctional family systems during the holidays in a video blog. Who knows, if it's good, I might actually do you the honor of cross-promoting it. This is from T. Thank you for your question, T. So, when it comes to dealing with family drama, first of all, it sucks. It's complicated. But there's the first step is to figure out whether you want to focus on the internal or the external. So the internal environment would be focusing on how you respond to your family, and the external would be focusing on how you can change the family. So we'll start with the external. So if you'd like to work on changing the family dynamics in the family system, then the first step is to acknowledge that you can't change anyone, that no one's going to change until they're ready to. So once you figure that out, then you can sort of think about, rather than changing people, think about influencing them. And so there's two communication styles that I really like for influencing people. So one is nonviolent communication, so it's called NVC, and I'll post a link on the blog to that so you can go check that out. The other style of communication that I really like is similar to NVC, but it adds a little bit of the storytelling that happens when we interact with others, and I like that one. So that one looks like, when I see or hear or feel X, then the story I tell myself about that is Y, and I feel this way as a result. And what I really need from you, or what I'd really like, is Z. So what that might look like is, when I hear you raising your voice at me, the story I tell myself about that is that you don't respect me, and I feel hurt. What I really need is for us to communicate with kindness. So that's an example of how to use that strategy. So I'll also put that one on the blog as well. So if you like that one, you can practice using it for yourself. The best way to use these is to anticipate what might happen and practice actually saying those things out loud to yourself, because it can feel a little bit weird. And so when you communicate with someone in this way, often what I find is they stop for a second and they think about what you just said, because it kind of throws them off a little. And in doing that is the opportunity to change the interaction. So they have to change the way that they interact, because they have to think about what you just said and maybe interact in a different way with you. And the hope is, because you're using these strategies that have been designed to reduce conflict, or to deal with conflict in a healthy way, that it might start the ball rolling in the right direction. It's possible that that style might also be an epic fail. They might not respond the way that you want them to, or even in a way that's more positive than they used to respond. And so if that's the case, then that's when I like to move back into the internal world. So that means controlling how you feel and respond to them. So there's two strategies that I'll share with you for this. There's heaps out there, but there's two that I like. And so these two involve acknowledging that you have a voice that creates more drama. So for example, if you're creating a nice meal for everyone and people are kind of criticizing it, that little voice in the back of your head might say, oh, no one appreciates me, they don't appreciate how much time and energy and effort I put into this, I'm not doing this next year, blah, 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 blah. And it'll send you kind of down that road. So acknowledging that you have the choice of whether you listen to that voice or not. You don't have to listen to it. And that's the mistake that I fall into, and a lot of us fall into, is thinking that we have to listen to that voice. And so maybe designing a system for you so you can decide whether or not that voice is helpful for you or not. If it's not helpful, then you can imagine turning the voice down. Imagine there's a little knob and you can just go doot, 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 and turn it down a little bit. Or you can just say, thank you for sharing, and kind of let it go away. Some people actually imagine flicking the little voice off of their shoulder, whatever works for you. But just acknowledge that you don't have to listen to that voice. If that's difficult to do, then the process I recommend is The Work by Byron Katie. So I'll also put a link to that on the blog. she has this really cool 4-part question series that helps you to genuinely feel okay with the way that people are and not wanting them to change. And it helps when it's really deep, right? When you consciously, you can say to yourself, oh yeah, I totally accept everyone the way they are. But if you really want to genuinely feel it, it's got to drop down deeper. And Byron Katie has a great process for that. And one of my favorite quotes from her is, she says that when I argue with reality, I lose, but only 100% of the time. So basically, she means that when we want our family to be different than they are, we suffer. And that sucks. No one wants to suffer, especially over the holidays. So hopefully, all of those strategies might help to reduce the suffering in your world, T. Thank you so much for your question. I really appreciate it. And if you want your question answered next week, then just send the question in an email, and I'd be happy to try to come up with something helpful. So, until next time, I hope you have a wonderful holiday season with less drama than last year. More love and happiness and good moments, even if they're just all in your head. Okay, take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.